Right, so we're back on the Mx5 again now. This weekend we're heading down to Mondello Park. We have the DriftGames Bash and the guys are unveiling the brand new drift track, Sportsland. So we just have a couple of things to do to get ready on the Mx5. Have some short knuckles, some rack spacers, rack risers, and hopefully going to try and get a 6-speed gearbox into it. Now if you watched the ITB install in the last video, the car has been running absolutely great since. So I've only had the car once up at Mondello Park for a JDM Classics day. I'm really looking forward to this weekend, seeing how the car performs with the ITBs and the extra steering angle. For the people that don't know about short knuckles, what happens is when you reduce the length of the tie rod pickup point, you're allowing the knuckle to rotate further as it's pivoting on the ball joint. So you can see the difference there is about an inch off the original knuckle. Now that effectively translates into about an inch more worth of steering rack travel, and that's how you get your extra steering angle. And I also already have rack spacers fitted, or rack washers you could say, and those move the inner tie rod out a couple of millimeters, which just allow the rack to travel those few millimeters more. So both of those fitted, there'll be plenty of angle to drift. So the stock angle on the Mx5s is actually quite low. Right, so what we have here are rack spacers. Now, what happens when you lower an Mx5 is the arms, although the arms sit flat, the tie rods actually go up at an angle, and this can cause you sort of bump steer issues. So these rack spacers from our theory, just raise the rack up and make the tie rods parallel to the arms. It's important to loosen the U-joint on steering shaft, because once you lift up the rack, it actually needs to travel back up a little bit just to allow that to not to sit at such an aggressive angle. So now another issue is after fitting these spacers, it changes the toe because it effectively lengthens the tie rod because of the angles. So that's already maximum adjusted, so what we're going to have to do is just shorten the tie rod just a bit. You have to make sure the engagement on the tie rod is at least 1.5 times the thickness of the tie rod itself. So we'd want about an inch worth of engagement here, so we can safely trim off at least 1 centimetre, but I'll probably just do a couple of millimetres first. Now a trick there is just to throw in a bolt or a bit of a tie rod. So once you cut this, it's not left with a rough edge and you can unscrew it. Right, now we're down to 2 days before the event, and the last thing I have to do is fit the new 6-speed gearbox. The ratio on these are slightly shorter, and also they're really stronger than the 5-speed. But now obviously with the BMW on the lift, I'm going to have to do it on the ground, so I'm not looking forward to this. But here we are, and we have the manager. Now when Alex was doing the tune on the ITBs, at one point we noticed there was too much airflow going through the wideband, and it changed from some previous logs. But now that I've taken off the manifold, I've just found that it's been blowing out the gaskets. So at least now that diagnoses that problem, so we can get that sorted and get the tune a bit more dialed again. Right, so the gearbox is out. Now there's 2 differences with the 6-speed. The electrical wiring for the reverse switch is slightly different. I'm going to have to cut that off and just put on 2 connectors that are going to match the loom on the car. And then the other thing is on the 5-speed Mark 1 is that the speedo is driven by a cable, whereas the 6-speed has an electronic unit. So we have to just unbolt it, pull it out and swap that one over into it. Now the gearbox is back in, and just as I was putting it in, I remembered I've had a lot of people ask me about my hydraulic handbrake setup. Now this is a reverse hydro setup, so all of the cylinder is in behind and underneath the radio, and we have a screw-on handle, which is nice and keeps it nice and neat. Right, we've landed down here in Mondello Park. Now it's wet as usual, but it's beginning to dry up, and we've had a couple of test laps. The car is going so much better now than last year. The new alignments really helped it. So far it's going great. Yeah, track is super busy this weekend. I think there's 150 drivers. Been a super successful first day. The car ran faultlessly throughout the whole time, and it was nice. We only went through one set of tyres to just help with the damp weather in the morning, but temperature stayed nice the whole time, and I was able to accurately monitor it with the CAN gauge display. So yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. Hopefully another set of tyres, and that's us.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with hard it hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. Heart on my sleeve, stretch, shit on my grip. That's how I get it, success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous, down, wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank, I'm running on fumes. The opposition on the maze, the roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag, I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need the brag, I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. Bustin' family, don't do the math. I'm out of my pocket, Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect, let them watch me elevating. Got them knocks, cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving, ain't no house. Watch out, get ahead, watch out, get ahead, watch out, get ahead. Watch out, set it up, bet you watch, set it down, watch out, get away. I don't think they really wanna come against the runner, got a finger run up in on a grenade. I ain't never been there when you think you compare to my line, but the one about the cage. I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, gotta get a no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with hard it hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
Right, so we're back from the bash now. The car ran amazing. Thankfully we came out with no damage at all. And with the ME442 ECU and the CAN check gauge, I was able to keep an eye on all of the temperatures, all the pressures. and keep the car in a safe condition for the weekend, particularly on the Sportsland track because it's so tight. There's not much airflow going through, so the car will tend to overheat, get warm after a couple of laps. So it's nice to be able to monitor that exactly and keep the car within its safe limits. I really have to give a shout out to the Tyre Streets Accelera 351 tyre. This is their grassroots tyre. Now, I've done 3/4 of a day in the dry on the one set of tyres, and there's still 30 at least, if not 40% left on them. I really lost count of the amount of laps I got in with them. Really looking forward to using them in the future. They've lovely side bite, plenty of grip, but still enough that it's not too grippy for a low powered Mx5. But just to give you an idea, these are Firestones, and now these lasted 4 laps and they're absolutely destroyed. And this is the new Accelera 351s, and you can see in there just how much is left on them. And once they get a wee bit lower on the insides, I'll be able to flip them over and get another countless number of laps out of them. So I highly recommend them. They'll be staying on the car for the foreseeable future, especially that they're road legal. So, and if you have something that's a wee bit more power and you want a bit more grip, you can go up to the 651s. Now, it definitely needs a good wash, but you can't complain with that at all. No issues whatsoever. But yeah, I really have to give it to DriftGames. The amount of effort they have put into getting this track to work, particularly with Mondello Park. And it's such a blast driving with the tyres that I didn't actually get to film too much content. So next time I'm going to bring someone specifically just to film. Now, I was so impressed with the Accelera 351s that I reached out to the guys at Tyre Streets, and I'm delighted to announce that they have come on and helping supporting the channel. So if you want to spend more time on track and less time off track changing tyres, like these ones only lasting 4 laps, go try out the Acceleras. Now this weekend, in the 29th in the RDS, we have Cool Nights. Bit of a different event from normal, but if you want to come check out the build, come say hello. I'll be down there with the boys. I think it's Ireland's only nighttime show. It's going to be cool to see what's down there. I'll leave a link to their page in the description. Now I just want to throw it out there that I'm considering maybe doing a merch drop. If you're interested in some sort of Japanese Mx5 maybe inspired hoodies or t-shirts, leave a comment down below. I just want to see if there's interest. Just put an example on the screen here of something along the lines of what I'm going for. And if it's possible, I might try to get it done before Christmas. So if there's enough interest, I'll try to make it happen. And as always, if you enjoyed the content, drop a like or a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.